Hello and welcome to Percentage Decrease with Cube Education. In this mini lecture, you will work out how to decrease an amount by a percentage and use a multiplier to decrease an amount by a percentage. So there's quite a few things to remember in this lesson, so try and take really good notes and try and listen carefully and re-watch things as you can. So here's a question. We're going to look at the question and we're going to go through different methods in order to be able to answer it. So let's say you're shopping at secretsales.com and see a gift you would like to buy for your friend. Originally, the gift cost £27, but the secret sale price is 30% off. What price do you pay? So, the main thing that you need to take away from that is the fact that you've got £27 and there's 30% off it. So, again, I'm sitting outside recording this and I can hear dogs barking, so I'll apologise if you can hear that. So let's look at our first thing that we've got to do, and we've got to find 30% of 27. Okay, so all you've got to worry about is the 27 and 30% off. The rest of the question, ignore. Don't panic that there's so much writing, because you will get questions like this. And also, you just need to make sure you remember what price do you pay for the gift, okay? So let's find 30% of 27. So method one is like finding 10% first. So when we've got any number, finding 10% is really easy. We just move the decimal point. So technically, to find 10%, you divide by 10. Okay, that doesn't work with all the percentages. If you want to find 5%, you can't divide by 5. All right, but for this one, it does work. You divide by 10. There is a video on percentages of amounts, and there is also a video on multiplying and dividing by 10, 100, and 1,000, which will help you, and dividing by 10, 100, and 1,000. So please go back and watch those if you haven't already. So 27 divided by 10 is just £2.70. We just move the decimal point one place back, okay? Remember, if we times, we move the decimal place this way. If we divide, we move it that way. So we're dividing. So we move the decimal place back one space. So our answer is 2.7, or in this case, because it's money, £2.70. So I already have 10%, and I need 30%. So technically, I need 3 lots of this 10. So if I want 20%, I just times it by 2. It gives me £5.40. But if I want 30%, I do 2.7 or £2.70 times 3, which gives me £8.10. Now, you could probably do that without a calculator, and I hope you can, because this isn't too difficult a question to figure out without a calculator. So your 30% of £27 is £8.10. Okay, I'm going to show you another method, and this is turning the percentage into a decimal and using it as a multiplier. And it's a really easy way, but most of the time you do need a calculator, so that's why I like to show you different methods to do without a calculator. So 30% as a decimal is actually 0.3. To work out what it is as a decimal, we just divide it by 100. So 30 divided by 100, we would go back 2 places this time because it's 100, not 10. There's 2 zeros in it, so we have to go back 2 places. Okay, and it gives us 0.3. Okay, so you should know these ones anyway, because these are the ones that we went through in some of the fraction decimal percentage equivalents that you needed to remember. So 30 divided by 100 is 0.3. That is our decimal, and all we can do with that if we have a calculator is the 0.3 times 27. Okay, so we don't really have to do anything with the 27. The £27 stays as it is, and we change the percentage to a decimal. So if I type that in my calculator, I'll get exactly the same answer, £8.10. Okay, so 30% of 27 is £8.10. The last method is finding 1% first. Okay, to find 1%, we take our £27 and we divide it by 100, because percent means out of 100, so I'm going to split my 27 into 100 pieces to find what 1% is. And then, because I've got my 1% now, which is 0.27, I just have to times it by 30, because I want 30%, and this is 1%, so I want 30 of them. So if I times it by 30, it gives me £8.10. So again, 30% of 27 is £8.10. Okay, there's 3 really good methods there for you to practice and use. Okay, one, if it's quite difficult and you need a calculator, we can use this method or this method, and this is the non-calculator method, really. Okay, so going back to the non-calculator method, again, finding 10% is probably your best bet most of the time, and we have gone through videos where you've found other percentages, okay, especially the percentages of amounts video. So let's move on, because we've actually got to answer the question now. So we're going to look at method 2. I'm just going to put this here just so we've got our answer written down. So it doesn't matter which method you've used or which method you like the best. I'm just writing this here so you've got the answer to 30% of 27. So step 2. Now we know what 30% of 27 is, we can answer the question. So what price did you pay? Well, it was £27 and you got 30% off. 30% off was £8.10 off. Okay, so you get a discount. So you need to do 27 take away £8.10. So you would actually pay £18.90 for that gift. Okay, so I hope that all makes sense. I've written 3 questions here. Pause the video and have a go. I am going to go through them all and work out the new value of after the percentage decrease of all of these questions. Okay. Okay, if you pause the video and have a go, let's go through each one carefully. So I'm going to show you both methods on here, one with a multiplier and one with a non-calculator. So the first question is, in the academic year 2011 to 2012, there were 2,895 male teachers. In 2012 to 13, this had decreased by 16%. How many male teachers were there in 2012 to 2013? So what you've got to do is basically work out 16% of the number of males that there were last year. Well, in 2011-12, okay? So 16% of 2,895. So what you could have done was taken your 2,895 and times it by the decimal version of 16, okay, of 16%, which is 0.16. Percentages and decimals are really easy. Most of the time you just put a 0 point in front of it, okay? That gave me 463.2. So that is the 16% decrease. That is not how many teachers there are. We now need to do the subtraction because it's a decrease. There will always be a subtraction to do. So if you miss a subtraction, you've probably made a mistake in a percentage decrease question. Okay, so be careful. So the amount of teachers in 2012 to 13 is 2,895. Take away the 16%, which is 463.2. Leaving us with 2,431.8 male teachers. Okay, so that's the way you could do it. I know you can't really have 0.8, so we could say there were around 2,432 male teachers working in 2012-13. Okay, we've rounded up to the nearest whole number rather than putting the 0.8 on. Right, so we could have also done it this way without a calculator. So the first thing I would have done, because I don't have a calculator, is worked out 10%. 10%, all I do is go back one decimal place because I just divide by 10, remember? So it'd be 289.5. Now, because I want 16%, the next thing I'm going to work out is 5%. Well, 5 is half of 10, so to find 5%, I just halved this number, the 10% number, okay, to give me 144.75. Now I've got 15 altogether, so I could add those together and it would give me 15%, but I still need one more percent. So here's my 1%, and to find 1%, I just took my original number here, and instead of dividing by 10 to find 10%, I divided by 100. I split it into 100 pieces to find out what 1% was, which is going back 2 decimal places, 28.95. And then I would just add all those together. There is a video on adding decimals, okay, if you're struggling with that. So if I add them all together, it gave me 463.2, which is exactly the same answer I got here. And then I would take them away from each other, giving me the same answer I got here. Okay, so hopefully you understand those methods. Let's look at the second question. In 1900, there was an average of 42 students per teacher in elementary schools. In 2010, this had decreased by 45%. What was the average class size in 2010? So all you need to do is look at the number of students and find 45% of them. So 45% of 42. What is 45% of 42? Well, 45% as a decimal, you probably already know, is 0.45. So I can just do 0.45 times 42. Okay, so just change it to decimal, times it by the number of students, and it gives me 18.9. That's the decrease. That's not how many students there are, remember? So I still have to take away. So I have to take my original amount of students, which was 42, subtract my percentage, which is 18.9, and that gives me an average class size of 23.1. But we can just say in 2010 the average class size was 23 students. Okay, so we've rounded to the nearest whole number again. Now without a calculator, this one's alright, it's quite nice. 10%, we work out 10% first without a calculator, it's the easiest one to find. 10% is 4.2 because I just divide by 10, which means I take my decimal point back one space. So that's 4.2. And then I wrote down 20% because it would have made it easier for me. So to find 20%, well, 20 is double 10. So I just doubled this number because then that gives me 20%. Now I need 45, so I thought what would probably be best is taking this 20 and doubling it again to give me 40. So if I double 20, it gives me 40. So if I double the answer, it gives me 40%. Then the last one I needed 5%. Well, 5% is half of 10. So I just halved this number to give me 2.1. Now all I need, even though I've written all these down because they helped me find my answers, I actually only need the 40 and the 5 because I only need 45%. So 16.8 plus 2.1 and it gives me 18.9. Exactly the same answer here. 42 minus 18.9 is 23.1. Again, the same answer I got here. Okay. Right, last question then. In 1992, 46,080,000 people said they were Christians. In 2012, this dropped by 25%. How many people professed to be Christians in 2012? So, let's work this out using a multiplier. I need to know what 25% of 46,080,000 is. So I can just change my percentage, my 25% to 0.25 and times it by the 46,080,000. And that gives me 11,520,000 people. But again, that is the decrease. Okay, so I need to take it away. So I need to do 46,080,000 take away 11,520,000, leaving me with 34,560,000 Christians in 2012. Now without a calculator, this is even easier because actually 25% is exactly the same as a quarter. A quarter means that we can just divide the whole thing by 4 and it will give us the same answer, or half the number and half it again. You might have remembered that in school. If you want a quarter of something, instead of dividing by 4, you can half it and half it again. It makes life much easier. I can still hear those dogs barking, I apologise. So, if we took our number of 46,080,000 and halved it, it gives me 23,040,000. If I half that again, it gives me 11,520,000, which is what I got here. And then I just subtract it like I did before, giving me the same number, 34,560,000 Christians here and here in 2012. Okay. Right, well done. I hope you got all those right. Again, if you're really struggling with percentages of amounts, there is another video on it. Please rewatch it. There will be some more questions at the bottom of the video. Thank you very much. Well done, and I'll see you next time.